Hey there, welcome back to our channel. We are here with our video installment this week, and the main educational thing I wanted to talk about this week is the benefits of getting your finances organized. As a reminder, my name's Dan. I am the Chief Financial Ninja over here at Black Belt Ledgers. We are a bookkeeping and CFO firm here in Oklahoma City. And we can service not only local Oklahoma City folks, but we can work with anybody across the U.S. So give us a call. You can find our website, blackbeltledgers.money. You can also take a look and subscribe to our YouTube channel down the bottom. So let's go ahead and get started, right? So usually we talked last week in our video that the finance department in your business is oftentimes the piece that's overlooked because of poor education, just because math is kind of scary for a lot of folks, and that's okay. It's not really their fault. They care more about factoring polynomials than how to do business analysis. So it is what it is. Now, let's take a look real quick. So some of the things I want to talk about are some of the benefits of getting your finances organized, and they are myriad. Let me tell you, there's a whole lot of them. But some of the important things here that I want to talk about. One is that it arms a business owner with the information needed to run their business. And we take a look at things like profit and loss statements, balance sheets, cash flow summaries, and also, all of the information that comes on all of those things. It can tell us where our money is coming in, how we're spending our money. Our finances being organized can even go one step further. They can assist with things like job costing. And if you've not heard this word before, it's usually used in a lot of construction industries where you take a look at the profitability by each project. So you can see how much income was generated from the project and how much money you spent on the project. A few other things that are really important, as a business owner, if you have your books in order, that means that, you can go talk to commercial lenders. You can help get yourselves the loans and the funding you need to grow and to improve your cash flow or tackle some of the major things that need to be tackled. And then finally, not just arming your business, commercial lenders, if you're ever looking to sell your business, that's huge. You need all of these things. And then finally, the last really important reason about getting your finances organized is that it helps you with a tax strategy and some tax planning. And so we're going to take a look at some of each of these things and some of the benefits that you get from having this information together, right? So let's take a look at this first one up here. I'm going to mark this with a purple. And so this is going to be purple number 1. Arms business owners with the information they need to effectively run their business. So let's take a look at what some of that means, right? So if I have my books in order, I should be taking a look at 3 reports every month. A profit and loss, a balance sheet, and a cash flow summary. So what do each of these reports do? My profit and loss deals a lot with income and expenses. My balance sheet has a lot to do with showing balances. So things like how many assets I own, how many liabilities I owe to other people. And then lastly, you're also going to see that you can get an equity summary on here too. And then lastly, a cash flow summary accounts for anything that doesn't show up on your profit and loss. So for example, we said only income and expenses are on the P&L. P&L is short for profit and loss, if you're wondering. But on my cash flow summary, I'm going to take a look at adjustments to cash and how much money I have on hand, because the amount of cash in my bank account isn't always reflective of what's on hand with my profit and loss. Sometimes there are adjustments to operations, and those can be in the form of things like accounts receivable. I might bill it, but if I haven't collected the money, my cash flow isn't affected. I can also see that this is where I'll have things like loan and credit card payments. Because believe it or not, a loan is not an expense. Only the interest is. So your loan payment should not be showing up on your profit and loss other than the interest portion of your repayments. I'm also going to see for things like distributions or dividends. As well as owner draws. And so my cash flow summary shows what happened to make my bank account look the way it looks, even if I have recorded profits on the books. So these three reports are so important to running your business. If you're not looking at these every month, give us a call. We will get you set up and get you in a great place with your financial information. And once you have these basics down, your profit and loss, your balance sheet, your cash flow, and these are things that are regularly working through, there's one more thing about having your records in order that comes with this. Once you start looking regularly at your profit and loss, balance sheet, and cash flow summaries, this is going to be the foundation that you use for budgets, projections, future earnings, future earnings and expenses, anything that comes along these lines. This is also going to be the foundation that's used for job costing as well. We'll have another video on job costing here in a little bit, but I just wanted to make sure that when you have this type of information, there's a lot of protection that comes with having these. And in fact, by knowing your numbers every single month, you can really help to make sure that your business is healthy, has the cash flow it needs to succeed, and help you make adjustments to your plans and your operations for the month. So this is the immediate benefit, and I think that should speak for itself, because now you have a very clear idea of how much money your business is making, how much money your business is spending every month, and where the money that you need to make to pay all your bills is going to come from. So, item 1, we're arming the business owner with the information they need to run their business, all the way from budgets and projections, all the way through job costing. Let's take a look at some other benefits though, because now we're going to take a look over here at commercial lenders in selling your business. I'm going to group these guys together as bullet point 2 because they kind of go hand in hand. So what do I mean by this is great for commercial lending? So let's take a look at an example right quick. When it comes to commercial lending, there's a couple things that a lot of loan officers want to make sure you have. And in order for you to demonstrate that you are a business owner that has a profitable business with good cash flow, with a reasonable amount of debt, with anything along those lines, you've got to make sure that you show them your balance sheet and your profit and loss. If you don't have these two reports to hand over to the commercial lender, they can't help you out with these things. What do they look for on your balance sheet? They look at how much you owe. They look at what others owe you. They take a look at what assets you have, in terms of like bank accounts, large equipment, um, technology licenses, anything along those lines. And they also take a look at like liabilities and equity within the business. And the more clarity you can provide on your balance sheet, the happier your commercial lender is going to be, because they take a look at very specific sets of numbers on that balance sheet and build some ratios that help them determine whether or not you're a good candidate for lending. So then let's take a look at the selling your business portion too. And I wanted to talk about this because when you sell your business, it relies a lot on the exact same thing. It still leverages that balance sheet and your profit and loss. Because in addition to looking at what you owe, what others owe you, what assets your business has, what liabilities you owe to others, how much equity you have vested in the business, there are also a few different models used for business valuation. Oftentimes, whenever you go to sell your business, you bring in an independent party called a business valuation expert. And what they're going to do is pretty much sit down and take a look at your business and go, hey, you have, your business is valued at X dollars for sale, right? So there are a few things that factor into that. Of course, they're going to take a look at things like your total income. And if you can break down your, if you can have revenue stream visibility, i.e. say, oh yeah, I own a martial arts school, for example, and I make $17,000 a month in tuition, and I make an extra $8,000 a month between retail, private lessons, and events. Awesome. It's a lot of clarity on things that are one-time versus recurring amounts. Also on your balance sheet, as part of this, what others owe you, they're going to take a look at what kind of contracts your business is engaged in. They're going to want to take a look at the profits on your profit and loss report, because you can have a $2 million business, but if it's making a $10,000 profit every year, that could be really terrible for the industry you're working in. And it could be that it's not a profitable business to buy, and that has a lot to show that it could just be not a great investment for your buyer to make at that time. So important things to keep in mind: commercial lending, selling your business, they require the same documentation, or really similar documentation, as to what it takes to run and operate your business. And it kind of gives people a look under the hood, for lack of a better word, when they're going to buy business or invest in your business as a lender. So you can see all these reports come in handy for more than just you. And the last area that I want to talk about here is tax planning and strategy. This is key because I'm going to share a little bit of an example here after a second. But first, what is tax planning and strategy? Honestly, the easiest way to say this is how to minimize your tax bill. And there are ways to do this. There's all kinds of comprehensive strategies. And one of the things I like to do here at Black Belt Ledgers is partner with a CPA. That way I know what format she wants all of her information in, and she makes a very quick analysis to help my clients prepare for the future. And there are ways you can do this. There's things to do like invest in retirement. That'll help you take some of the profits you have at the end of the year and convert them from liquid cash into assets. You can also invest in equipment. You can depreciate equipment and use it, turn it into a write-off expense every year. There's all kinds of options that come in here, and this is just for your business. There's not just your business side, but there's the personal side too. And this is very dependent on the individual situation. There are some folks that have rental houses. There are some folks that don't. There are some folks that have assets that are appreciating in value or growing in value over long term. And there are some folks that have put a lot of assets into a trust. So your individual situation does factor into your tax planning and strategy as well. But if you don't have the documentation from your business, if you don't know what your profits are coming into the year, if you're not able to predict how much money you're going to make in the year as profits, it's going to be really difficult to create a comprehensive tax strategy. Additionally, this helps you avoid, this is the important part here, this helps you avoid tax surprises at the end of the year. So I'm going to share a story from one of my clients real quick. I'm not going to use his real name to protect privacy and all those other good things. So we're going to say that my client's name is Xavier, right? Professor Xavier, perhaps. Please don't sue me for copyright infringement. What happened here is in 2022, he pretty much had a CPA do his books at the end of the year, after everything was done, right before tax time. And that's when they finished the books. And it came out at the end of the year. He ended up with a couple $100,000 in profit. And his tax bill, Professor X's tax bill at the end of the year, was about $80,000. And again, that was in 2022. For his 2023 taxes, he went through 3 different CPAs before he got to me. And so in 2023, his books were not cleaned up. I got his books cleaned up for him finally in June. And again, a couple $100,000 profit, and he recently came back and his tax bill was somewhere in the vicinity of $62,000. That's a lot of money for anybody to come up with at the end of the year at the drop of a dime, because the IRS says, hey, if it's not in by April 15th, we're going to throw penalties and interest on there. So what's nice now, though, is since his books were cleaned up, I introduced him to my CPA partner, and she and I sat down, and now for 2024, we have helped Professor X anticipate his profits. And we gave him very specific strategies to do for things like retirement, things like assets to purchase, and help him, minimize his tax bill this year. And after we sat down and gave him a strategy where we can help him plan these things out, we're anticipating that his tax bill for the next calendar year is going to be down to somewhere between $5,000 to $10,000. And he now knows that's an expense to plan for in April of 2025, which means he now has effectively 9 months to start planning that out. So not only is it important for tax compliance, making sure your books are done so you can file your taxes and not get thrown in jail by the IRS, but now we were able to take these consistently high tax bills, and we gave him some very clear-cut strategies to help save him on what he owes in taxes. I mean, honestly, if I went from $80,000 to $10,000 because I paid a bookkeeper, a couple $100 a month, I'd be thrilled. I think that'd be well worth the investment. But because he took the time, we're saving him somewhere between $50,000 to $70,000 in a tax bill this year. And I love that, the partnership I have with my new CPA friend has been so helpful for my clients. Because that's really my job, is to make sure that your finances are protected. So to summarize here, to go back to the top of our list, there's three main benefits here. By keeping my books in order, I can make sure the business owner clients I have are able to run their business strategically and effectively. I arm them with the information to know where their money's coming in and where their money's going. Even down to the point where we can talk about job costing, we can start predicting what their future needs are for budgets and annual and quarterly projections. We also use this data to help them set short-term goals and track their progress on those goals throughout the month so they can make sure they're seeing the results they want to achieve. In addition to the business owners, there are external interests as well. People from commercial lenders, potential business buyers, all kinds of good people from that side. Because those balance sheets and profit and loss statements can really showcase what your business has, and putting it on paper is the most important piece for the documentation trail. And then lastly, knowing your profits, knowing your income, knowing your cash flow, can really help you build a comprehensive tax strategy. You can go from a surprise bill that's in tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars every year, like with my client under the alias of Professor X. We saved him between $50,000 and $70,000 in taxes because we were able to help him make smart money moves on the front end to help minimize his tax burden. So I hope that this video has given you some idea of the benefits of getting your finances organized. It was a quick video, but I think it's a really powerful one. So as always, you can find me on my website, blackbeltledgers.money. You can also find me on YouTube. Just click the subscribe button to my channel. And this has been a lot of fun. We'll be back next week on Wednesday with more consistency for you and some more great tidbits about running your business. All right, friends, we'll talk soon.